A very good evening to you. Welcome to another edition of the Business Advocate on Ghana Television. And tonight we're taking a look at the passage of a cattle ranching law in Ghana. It's something that we need to give serious consideration to. But then one of the biggest challenges facing peasant farmers in Ghana, especially in the three northern regions of the country, i.e. the Upper East, Upper West and Northern regions, as well as the Bunafo region and Ashanti, is the destruction of farms by herds of cattle led by alien herdsmen on pasture. Hardly does a year pass by without peasant farmers and members of the public expressing outrage against alien herdsmen known to have come from virtually all of Africa's Sahel region in the northern parts of some countries in the southern forest belt of West Africa, who are the major perpetrators. The phenomenon in certain cases has involved farmers being killed by these alien herdsmen who are armed, and in some cases females of these communities being raped. Governments after governments have tried several measures, including the formation of task forces to check the activities of these alien herdsmen, as well as the introduction of the Operation Cowleg, but the impact has not been as expected. Tonight, Business Advocates will examine this annual ritual of peasant farmers versus herdsmen and their cattle vis-a-vis the passage of the cattle ranching law in Ghana as the solution. The program is brought to you thanks to the Peasant Fund in collaboration with the GBC and the GJA. Let me announce the text lines for you now, then I go straight ahead with my introduction of my special guest. Now, you may call, you may join the discussion via text message. 0261 783382 is the number to reach us through text message. 0261 783382. Now, introduction of my guest this evening. On my immediate left, I have the Honorable William Ejipon Kwetu. He is the Deputy Ranking Member, Parliamentary Select Committee on Agriculture, Food and Cocoa Affairs. Honorable, good evening, welcome.
Good evening.
Great. I also have Mr. Mohammed Adam Nashiru, who is a member of the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana. Good evening.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I knew you as a president. I don't know what's happening.
Former president.
Former president. I see. In the US, the president always a president anyway. Yeah. Then also we have Imam Hanafi Sunday, who is the national chairman of the Ghana National Association of Cattle Farmers. Good evening, welcome.
Good evening.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum
Great.
salam.
Ahead of me, I have another big man here. I have Dr. Anthony Akunzule, who is the Deputy Director, Veterinary Services, Ministry of Food and Agriculture, Mofa. Good evening, sir.
Thank you.
Doc, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Let's start this way. First of all, the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana, I'm told, is a little over 10 years old, and you were formed somewhere around 2005. Now, in brief, what do you stand for?
Thank you. We stand for Ghana's food security. Mm-hmm. We stand for incomes of the rural farmer. We stand for ensuring that our collaboration with MOFA, we get food at the right quantities, at the right place, and available at all times to guarantee our food security as a nation.
I see.
Yes.
What's your numerical strength?
We are countrywide with about 35,000 members.
I see.
I have the National Advocacy Office based in Accra and a regional office based in Tamale for the three northern regions.
I see. And how about Ibam? How about the size of your association?
Well,
when was it formed? Before
Ghana National Association of Cattle Farmers was formed 2001.
Okay.
2001.
Okay.
And I think we've gone a long way by establishing it across the 10 regions. And we have members across the 10 regions. So it's a national association. That is across the 10 regions. Yeah.
And about how many of you?
Yeah, our membership for now is around 2,000 and just few members.
Now, for both of you, how crucial are your operations in relation to the economy? First of all, I'm not sure.
Yeah. First of all, the two of us are all engaged in agricultural activities. And we have been in this industry for a very long time, since Adam. And we are here because we have some challenges that needs to be addressed by government in terms of policy. And I would say we benefit from each other. And the need for us to coexist is very important. Existing in peace and doing our work in peace. And I think that is why we are here tonight. We have everything in common. They are farmers, we are farmers. They said that they are into animals and we are into food crop production.
I know that if I asked you to outline your challenges, we might not leave here tonight. But then, which are the most salient of your challenges that really caused you to call on the Busak Fund to help you, for which reason we are here this evening?
Yeah, the salient one, as we speak, is the absence of a cattle ranching law in Ghana. In the sense that day in, day out, as we mentioned earlier in your presentation, we have skirmishes, conflicts all over. Reports reaching us from all corners of the country, talking about confrontation between food crop producers and alien herdsmen, sometimes leading people losing their lives. I can mention Agogo in the Ashanti region, Begro in the eastern region, Miang in the northern region, and several parts of the country. Day in, day out. Uncountable, numerous of them. And as a nation that is itching to be food secured and putting intervention in all corners of the country for our food security, measures needs to be put in place for us to be able to produce in peace to feed this nation. And so for us to be able to do that, we need to have a cattle ranching law that will regulate the activities of the herdsmen, especially alien herdsmen in our country, to make room for food crop producers to also produce to feed this country because of the numerous initiatives we have undertaken as a nation. One common is the CADEP initiative, the Comprehensive African Agricultural Development Program. 10% of our budgetary resources is supposed to go into agriculture. And if measures are not put in place, all these interventions are going to our rural communities. It means we'll come back with nothing because farmers will not get the peace to produce, and our arable lands are going to be occupied by alien herdsmen.
Honorable, since you belong to the House of Parliament, we're talking about a law here now, passage of this law. Where do you come in then? How far has your select committee gone with regards to the passage of this law?
Well, let me say a very good evening to our listeners, particularly those from my constituency, Achimota.
Great.
You see, there is this erroneous impression being held by the public that Parliament is responsible for making the laws. But the laws are initiated by the executive.
Okay.
So when it comes to Parliament, through the sector ministry, with the Attorney General's Department, endorsed by Cabinet, it then comes to Parliament for review and approval. Initially, we don't get involved in the initiation of the bills, let me put it that way, because it is only when it is passed that becomes a law. I know there is a challenge. Everybody is talking about it. I know the former president is very passionate about this. I personally have attended one of their fora regarding the passage of a ranching law. Let me use the word in the sense that it is not yet in Parliament. So if you keep referring to it as that means that there's a mistake.
Are we talking about, we all on the same wavelength, talking about That's
yes.
right, yeah.
So in other words, they want us to all put our heads together and come out with a law that to safeguard animal production and then, of course, crop production. At the last forum at Regency Hotel, I remember we were both there. MOFA members were there, and the Peasant Farmers Association, Mr. Nashiru, and his other colleagues were also there. They gave a very in-depth synopsis of a law that you have studied here, I mean, in the adjoining country, Burkina Faso, and then Mali. Those of us who were present thought that, yes, it was a good idea, and it was important that a similar law be, of course, be made to apply in Ghana, particularly learning from what happens in Agogo, Atebu, all over. At that forum, the Minister of Agri, which is a sector ministry,
yes,
of course, convinced them that they were already in the process of doing something like that. And that the question I in particular asked at that time was, why were the peasant farmers not aware of what MOFA was doing? Have they taken into consideration all their concerns? Are they sure that whatever bill they are going to churn out will actually address the challenges and the problems of these peasant farmers?
That's right.
They said that was the first time they were meeting together. And so at that forum, the chairman of the committee and myself, who represented my boss, the ranking member, made an emphatic statement to MOFA that they should make sure that whatever bill or law that they want to enforce in this country, the peasant farmers and then the cattle farmers themselves were involved, so that we have a very working document in Parliament. Because you see, oftentimes when such laws are brought into Parliament, the department or the committee that works on this is the legal and statutory department. Occasionally, if it's technical, then they involve that technical committee, senior members of that committee, to join the legal committee to go and discuss the bill, the salient parts of the bill. So we members of the Agri Committee in Parliament, we are only waiting for such a bill to be brought to Parliament.
Wonderful.
And so if MOFA is quick with what the peasant farmers are demanding, of course it will come to Parliament, or it will come to our committee, the legal department, in no time, and then we'll have to sit on it. Sometimes we are made to go to somewhere, sit on it for about a week or two, and look at all the provisions in it, in conjunction with the Attorney General. And so when everything is accepted, before it comes to the general floor of Parliament for debate, and then a certain number of days is given, and the bill is then passed into law after it has been assented by the President. So for now, we members of the committee are only saying that we have not seen anything yet. Once it has not been brought to Parliament, we don't know anything about it. But of course, we are also officially we don't know anything about it.
Great.
We are only waiting for it to come to Parliament.
So essentially, it means that the Ministry of Food and Agriculture is the main body which it has to, in a way, if you like, champion the cause of. Doc, tell us something.
Yes, the Ministry of Food and Agriculture is the lead agency for the production of food in the country. And, the farming system we have in Ghana as of now is what we call mixed crop farming system, where we do both crops and livestock. And as has been mentioned by Honorable, yes, it's true that the Ministry of Agri is in the process of revising their Disease of Animal Act law of 1961, Act 83. And we started the process in 2003 when we had some support to revise that old law of 1961. So this process has started, and I think my friend here has been invited for some of the consultative work that we are going on. And it's a good idea that we will have to have passed a law on cattle ranking. I mean, the Minister of Agriculture will buy into it. And since we are already in the process of passing the law, and they are also wanting to pass the law, then, because in our draft, we have what we call movement of animals. And in this movement of animals, normally we have what we call movement permit. Before animals are moved from any place, we give them movement permit. But what the Minister of Agri is fully aware is of what we call the alien herdsmen. Ghana is part of the ECOWAS sub-region. And in the ECOWAS sub-region, there have been what we call regulations on transhumans between ECOWAS states. And Ghana,
member states, yeah.
ECOWAS member state. And Ghana is a signatory to these protocols, which one was in 1998 and one was in 2003. So in revising our law for the Minister of Food and Agriculture, we are taking cognizance of these peculiarities. And we the Minister of Agriculture, we are aware of the threat of the alien herdsmen. We are fully aware. And I think, as you said, it has been there. And I think the history that even as far as 1951, these herdsmen started moving in from the Sahelian countries towards the country and has penetrated from the 3 northern regions now deep to what we call the transitional zone of our country. So even now, as the Honorable has said, we are in the process, and we have finished what we call the draft bill on veterinary and livestock improvement bill. But we are now in the process of having what we call the Ghana Livestock Policy Development and Strategy, because we cannot pass a law without a policy. And today, we are just having the validation workshop on the policy. And he was invited, he came for the validation workshop, and tomorrow that we are closing the validation workshop. So really, we are in the process of revising our dates, and we are going through the necessary procedures to have our document in shape, get it to cabinet, and then, as he has said, if it is approved by cabinet, then it will be sent to Parliament for approval.
Great. We'll come further on that. But Nashiu, you just heard from Dr. Akunzole. First of all, were you invited to to today's session? Were you part of it?
No, we're not part of it. The peasant farmers were not part of this conference ongoing. But from what I gathered from Dr. Akunzole, we have spoke about ranching law since Adam, let me put it that way. And the rate at which the destruction and the human suffering is going on in our farming communities is alarming.
Tell us about it,
And
the effects and the impact.
That even prompted the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana to engage His Excellency the President.
You have?
During the IEA encounter.
Yeah.
You did?
And the press who were there, if you recall, the President promised to do something immediately about it. And beyond that, we handed him over an envelope of some of the documents, what we are doing, to go and study on his own to see how urgent it is. And yesterday, as the day before yesterday, as I was watching news, I was told, as part of the president meeting with His Excellency Buhari at the Peduasi Lodge, the issue of alien herdsmen was mentioned. And we are very happy about that. But all that I want to say is that this action we have undertaken since 2013 needs an urgent attention. And that is why we prompted the President himself to see to it that this issue is resolved.
Let us feel the urgency in this call. How urgent is it? Why is it urgent? Ghanaians must know the impact of the situation we're talking about.
It's an open secret to everybody in this country. Day in, day out, from your media,
that's right,
your platforms, we hear Fulani herdsmen attacked, they killed, indiscriminate bushfires, cutting down of the trees for the animals to feed, pollution of water bodies, depriving the rural dwellers from their rural livelihood because they have occupied all lands and people don't have space to work. And the farmers are helpless, community members are helpless. And so we are saying that what is happening elsewhere in our sub-region, for instance, Burkina Faso and then Mali, we have traveled to see what they do in their country with regards to cattle ranching. And in Burkina Faso, even at the edge of a farm, animals could not trample on that farm. Because in every community, there is a committee that exists to ensure that these two groups coexist. For instance, if there is destruction, the ranches can be traced because they are registered and they are put at designated places. so the law enforcement agencies can deal with them. It's the same in Mali. And even in Mali, where they have alien herdsmen coming in somewhere around April, May, especially from Mauritania, they will come to the borders of Mali, and Mali government will vaccinate their animals at their own cost. The same thing happens in Burkina Faso. And you are given a period of time to stay. When that time elapses, you will be ejected. But in our situation, even as and when they come in, the law enforcement agencies are not aware because of the weakness of our frontiers. And so it's a very big disturbing issue that is affecting the development of agriculture in our rural communities countrywide. And so that is why the peasant farmers, people who are itching to feed this nation, we need to have access to arable lands. We need to have access to a lot of things. And I've started by saying we need to coexist in peace because they are equally doing farming. And that is why long ago, even when some of us were born, during Nkrumah's time, there was a meat factory at Bolga because of the influx of men, and they could do corn beef for people to buy, for consumption, and for job creation. And so that is exactly what we are calling for. The ranching law must be there to regulate the movement of the animals so that there will be space for us to produce, to feed this nation, and the rural livelihoods will be ensured, and also to reduce the movement of the youth trooping to the cities to look for non-existing jobs.
Imam Hanafi, besides the destruction and the killings and rapes of our citizens, what other risks are we exposed to with the invasion of these herdsmen and their heads?
Thank you very much. I think if I talk about the cattle farmers or the herdsmen, then I'm talking about what I know.
Yes, go ahead.
Because I've taught 10 regions, and I'm very close to them. And I can assure you that many of even their opinion leaders are our members, are members of our association.
That's correct.
And as I speak to you, we travel across the 10 regions, even at the district levels, somewhere in the Upper East, Upper West, Northern region. As I'm speaking to you, I'm sure people are listening, some of the authorities.
Okay.
We sit with the commanders, district executive committee members. And even in other areas, we have agreed on some policies at the district level that controls the movement of cattle that we're talking about. Because the illegal movement of cattle does not only affect the crop farmer, but rather affects also the cattle farmer who has settled. You get me right? For instance, if I have cattle farm and I am settled, the man who is passing by could cause any harm. But at the end of it, the next day, the farmer goes to the farm and finds out that the cattle has destroyed his farm. What he does is going to the closest person that is close to him. And being I am the owner of the cattle who is very close to his farm, he comes to me. And I can
assuming
also,
that it was your cattle that caused
and
the
I
destruction.
can also be 100% sure that my cattle did not go there. So we start argument. Then from there it leads to some conflict and other issues. So as I speak to you, we in our association at the district levels, we have even sat with some of the DCEs and we have agreed in that segment that at least we should have some at least what we call some formal policies that will be even managed before the passage of the law.
Okay.
Because we cannot be sleeping before the law is passed. So we are doing our own.
Okay.
But one thing is that sometimes I would like to plead with all of us in Ghana that we should sometimes also look at the other angle. Because some of these herdsmen are also confronted with very difficult issues, they themselves. Some of them. For instance, I can tell you, recently there were some herds of cattle in the Upper East region who came in from other countries, Burkina, and they came in with kind of sickness, diseases.
Those are the other things that
affected one of our members, Alhaji Usman Kotudi.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, affected more than 100 cattle died due to the spread of this disease. You get me right? So we, the Cattle Farmers Association, are already prepared to see that such laws are implemented so that we will be able to make things happen as it's supposed to be. But I am assuring you that we have thousands of these herdsmen who are also yearning for peace in this country. And the best thing is that these people, because one thing is that laws in Ghana, sometimes even we in the urban areas, mostly even the laws, we don't obey them. If you look at, for instance, let me give you an instance. A driver is moving a car. He got to a place, there's no parking, but he'll park. The passenger knows he don't have to take a car here. He'll come and stand there until the police is there before he runs away. How much more the person who is deep, he doesn't have radio, he doesn't have access of the TV, he don't even know what is going on. His own emulation, although his own thinking, mentality is different. So what we're supposed to do is, even before implementing the law, we need to go close to these people, call them, talk to them.
Create awareness.
Okay. Let them know that what we are telling them or what we are trying to do is rather a benefit to themselves. It's like telling the driver to put on a seatbelt. Yes. When he sees the police, he puts. When he goes, then he takes it off. But it is his own advantage. So I think it's the best for us to implement these laws. But also, the laws should not be implemented without these people being sensitized very well. And sometimes as we go as an association, we meet them, we talk to them. But sometimes the DCEs and some of the agri directors at the regional level and the district level, they do come in. So when they come in, you find out that our message goes to their hearing more proper. And they understand that what we are saying is true and the government is backing.
Okay.
So I think it's a very good initiative. But I also want to make it clear that so many of our members are also yearning for peace. They have also many problems which they are also facing. So I think in collaboration, we can be able to bring a positive change in the cattle farming sector.
Doc, let's look at the effects of this, if you like, non-existence of a law, a cattle ranching law in Ghana, on the agricultural sector and the economy as a whole. What are the implications? The absence of this law.
The absence of this law is really having a negative impact on the
agricultural sector and the economy.
And the economy in general. He mentioned disease, but we call them transboundary diseases. Transboundary in the sense that they cross boundaries.
That's right, yeah.
So such diseases are mainly what we call contagious bovine pleural pneumonia, which is sort of CPP. He knows. And he has
not a party.
No, CBP.
Okay, I thought
not
CBP.
Contagious bovine pleural pneumonia.
I see.
And he has even come to me that he needed a vaccine to go and vaccinate animals against that. So it's a real situation. And I think maybe he has mentioned animals dying. I suspect that it was not there, but it could be that disease that had killed those animals. So mortalities lead to reduction in the quantity of meat we produce in the country. And besides that, it also increases cost of production because they have to buy drugs to treat, they have to buy vaccines to vaccinate. So this increases cost
passed on to
the consumer.
Exactly.
And therefore, I know Ghana, what is our cattle population? 1.5. That's million. That's all we have in the country.
That's not enough at all.
That is not enough.
At all.
At all. With our population of almost 27 million.
Yes.
So if we have only 1.5 million cattle as of now, and then, so these alien herdsmen, as we said, they are really having a menace. At the same time, there's an economic benefit that we can gain from them. But the only law, what is that there's not existing law that regulates their movement. But will you say there's no law? Because the ECOWAS transshumance regulation is there. Only that, as he has said, it's not being enforced. It's not being implemented. Because with the ECOWAS transhumance protocol, they have what we call defined rules for which the animals should pass. And before they pass, we will have to issue them what we call ECOWAS International Health Certificate. But how many times or how often do we really issue them the certificates before they enter the country? Because also our borders are what we say are porous. And we had good quarantine stations at Paga, Mugnore, and Hamili, where these herdsmen we could quarantine them. But all those facilities are what? Broken down. You see, so we also have these challenges of maybe the veterinary people getting in control to do what we are supposed to do, to issue this movement permit and to make sure that when they enter the country, they settle at one particular place, and before they move, as you are saying, they must be registered in that particular district, and before they move, they have to get permission.
And all these must be under
the law.
The law. So the law that we're trying to, bring into force.
So I am thinking that since we are starting a process and we are almost all gearing towards the same goal, improve food security in the country, I don't know whether we can join forces with their law, because the Minister of Agri is the lead agency as far as food production is concerned. So if they are enacting a cattle ranking law,
calling for that law.
Yes, right. And I said in Ghana we have what we call mixed livestock farming system, then we should be able to see how we could really, I don't know, he is a member of parliament.
I'll come to you very soon on that one. but before I do, Doc, what's the level of collaboration between your ministry and the Peasant Farmers Association? Because if indeed today there was a meeting and they were not part of it, and I believe that meeting ultimately, aims at improving the situation, and why were they not involved?
I think that's an interesting question. But as I said, we have invited all stakeholders, and he is invited. He's a member. And
I'm referring to
not all.
No. I'm referring to the
I
Peasant
think
Farmers.
one of their members is invited. Is Deputy King not your member?
No, Peasant Farmers.
Yes.
Deputy King is from Phone.
Phone.
Yes.
But I think he is a member of your. Okay, well, and they were also had their. I am what we call the focal point for livestock policy in my ministry. They had the workshop. I was not also invited. So you see, there's this kind of.
No,
but they will invite
So, one second before you come in, please. If you're watching,
I'll
let you continue. I'll let you continue. 1 second. I have a message for our viewers. Please don't call the line. Just send your text messages. Okay, please stop calling the line, because we will not pick the call, no matter where it's coming from. But please, just send your messages through the line 0261783382. Doc,
maybe it was an oversight.
Okay.
Because I do send the invitations out. And we see the one thing also in Ghana is we have so many associations, all in the livestock sector or in the agriculture sector. For example, we have what we call Livestock Breeders and Traders Association. They have been with us as far as this revision of our law is concerned from day one. And he knows some of the members. There are associations there. We have the Ghana National Association of Poultry Farmers. So,
is there a common ground between what you're calling for and what they have initiated, so that your inputs will be available in the final law that we're calling for?
I think in the honourable member's presentation,
that's right,
he mentioned what MOFA promised to do at the meeting.
That's right.
At Coconut Grove, all of them were part. And from us, I think once we were at the office of the Minister of Food and Agriculture, unfortunately that was the day the Iranian president was here, Ahmadinejad. So we're in the office when they called to tell us the minister is very busy and cannot see us. But all what we are doing is almost 2 years, and all the regional directors, district directors, where we have done sensitization, have been part of this advocacy action. And the director here, maybe he was not informed by his office about how we have collaborated so far in terms of this advocacy. But I'm happy today he's part of this program. And so at the last meeting, as the honorable member said, the ministry was saying they have worked on something, and FAO was also doing some work, and we are also doing it. And so what they want to do is to bring the three documents together, and then they will look at how they can send it to the executive, because we decided to say that MUFA will be our main collaborator in terms of getting this law passed, because that is within their mandate. And so that is
but
where
you don't
we
seem
are.
to work in
And
harmony
I
now.
remember again that when we were about meeting the minister, the current agric minister, we were told he traveled to China.
Yes.
And ever since, we've been making some attempts to get the minister to continue the process. And maybe from here, if his office is not getting some of the documents, maybe we'll pass it to him. But as we speak, these documents are at MOFA, and all those who participated have access to these documents for their consumption.
Okay, there's a message, Honorable, will come in very soon, but there's a message here from the fellow didn't indicate his name, but he's asking he said, please, what are some of the laws expected to be implemented? I think that he or she wants to know, the contents of the law we want, passed to curb. So, in effect, what are expectations? The fellow want to know.
Our expectation is to get this law in place. Then within that law, we are going to have something we call the semi-intensive system of raising the animals, where the animals
semi-intensive system.
Semi-intensive, where the animals will be given designated areas to graze, areas where they can pass for drinking, and areas where they can move to the kraals back for security reasons. And so that is what we want to happen now, because we are not mature enough for now to say we should go intensive. Because we have enough land, we have enough grazing areas for them to graze. We have so many water bodies where our animals can drink.
Okay.
And so we are calling for the law, and we are looking at the semi-intensive. That will be good for everybody in this country.
Okay, that's
By the survey we undertook,
okay,
the semi-intensive was highly recommended.
I'll come to you after, Honorable, to tell a little bit about the survey, the findings. But there's another message. The fellow says, I want to contribute to the program. But what is the topic is the passage of cattle ranching law in Ghana. That's what we'll be discussing to curb the damage and destruction caused by alien herdsmen and all that. So there will be harmony within that particular sector of the economy. Honorable, do you also see this as an urgent need, the passage of this law?
More than urgent.
Really?
More than urgent, because you see, you asked the director what the economic impact
that's right.
of this destruction is on the economy. It is damning in the sense that if you take our statistics,
that's right,
the volume of meat that we import every year keeps escalating. I keep asking myself, why can't Ghana, with all these resources given to us by God, cannot feed ourselves? Yesterday I was at a forum at a Fiesta Real Hotel. It was about food security and nutrition. And a foreigner, let me put it that way, excuse my language, a foreigner who's heading one of USAID's projects on food security got to know that a research officer mentioned, a research officer from Ministry of Health mentioned that, in fact it was Professor Akosa, that all it needs to nourish every child of say 3 years was a lot of beans, butternut a day. And so that foreigner asked a question. So as a country, Ghana, can't we give every child between 1 to 3 years a lot of beans a day? That is shameful. That's what he said. And if we are able to do that, no child will malnourish. That is the research. So I asked Professor Akosa, did you just find out this, or this information has been there and it has been with you, you are now telling us and we are not following it? Oh, my brother, honorable, that is why we call you honorables here. So that when we talk and you hear, you take it along and push it for us. I've been drumming this thing every time we meet on such a forum. Food security and nutrition. So I'm surprised. You see, our import on meat has been increasing. He mentioned the factories that were in Bolga and other places that we could use for corned beef and all that. Where are they? They are all gone. And you see, this challenge that we are talking about, it is not only alien Fulanis who bring their cattle here. Some of them come in here and then they go back. But when they are going, they are invited to come and manage cattle belonging to people.
Oh, I see.
Some opinion leaders,
Ghana,
big men in Ghana here. And they are doing the same thing. And so,
right.
you see, the law needs to come. To me, it is even too late. Ghana needs to be serious. We need to be serious. Agriculture, to me, ever since I joined this committee, I've seen that we are not serious. Read Maslow, his hierarchy of needs, and he says that the basic need is food and shelter. Now, some people have adopted, have changed it, including sex. I don't want to go that way. But you see, if anybody has a home to sleep in and food to eat, half of his problem is solved. And as a country, we cannot feed ourselves. When we are talking about the protocol that you mentioned, it's called the Maputo protocol. 10% of our budget should be given to agriculture. And last 2 years, hovering around 1.1% of our total budget for agriculture. Veterinary services. If you look at the total budget of the agriculture given to them, fractions given to the veterinary services. It's as if livestock or the veterinary sector is not part of agriculture.
You have a misplaced priority, you see here?
I don't know. And each time we talk about this, that's what happens. In fact, it is getting serious. And to me, if we don't rise up to do something about agriculture, very soon, we have to be importing everything. Look at the poultry sector. Look at what has just happened. Parliament approves of 11 million cedis to help solve avian influenza, bird flu. And as of today, I don't know, you are from there. Have you been given the money? I don't know.
I see.
We are not serious with that sector. Honestly, this problem should have been solved long ago.
That's right.
Long ago. I grew up in the north. And so I saw how cattle owners were, of course, managing their cattle. It wasn't the best. We used to live with them in the various communities. And today, I think it's the same. It's the same. The person will have a house, and at the back of the house, he will fence it, and then the cattle will be there.
Now, but let me read one more message, then we'll continue. This one's from Uswansa. It says, good evening. I'm from the Osu Police Station, Osu Police Barracks, I should say. He said, please, this Fulani case, it's not Fulani in a way, it's the alien herdsmen. Okay, these alien herdsmen, can't government implement a law that will prevent them from bringing their cattle here in the first place? That's a question he's asking.
No,
but can we do that? Before you answer, they try to answer that. In 2012, there was a case in Ashanti region where the Regional Security Council was ordered by a court to flush out some of these herdsmen, and I'm told that to date, and that law has not been carried out. I'm not quite sure whether any of us can comment on that. But before you want to comment on that, and then we look at the implementation of a law that will, in the first place, prevent them from coming. So you deal with that one, and our.
With regards to the issue at...
but remember that case?
Agogo, yes.
That's right, remember that case, that's
we
right.
took the sensitization to Agogo.
Okay.
And at the town hall, we had to stop the sensitization abruptly.
Why?
Because the inhabitants were fuming because of the death of their dear ones, and because the issue was in court. And weeks after we left the place, we were told they have won the case, and that government was coming out to flush out the herdsmen, alien herdsmen.
So what happened to that?
It came on air, but we didn't hear what happened. But recently, in the Volta region, a district chief executive also raised an alarm wanting to flush out the herdsmen. It's all over, and that is why we want a holistic approach to that issue. What is affecting him is affecting all the communities in Ghana, especially the rural communities, where farming activities is going on. And so isolated matters are there,
cases,
but we are saying it should be tackled holistically, looking at the enormous destruction that is ongoing countrywide.
Doc, the viewer is asking why we haven't got a law that will in the first place prevent them from coming. You want to educate us, especially in the line of ECOWAS protocol and all that?
Yes, exactly. Briefly. In the line of ECOWAS protocol, as the Honourable knows, that there's an ECOWAS protocol on the free movement of goods and people.
Yes.
And specifically, there's a ECOWAS protocol on transhumance between the ECOWAS countries.
So effectively, we cannot.
We cannot. What we can do is what we call sustainable management of the movement of cattle or the alien herdsmen into the country.
Yes, I think.
So,
Doc, have you landed?
So certainly, if we are part of ECOWAS, and ECOWAS has passed a protocol on the transhumance between the member countries, we cannot. And now there's what we call, there are 3 corridors for the movement of cattle.
Corridors,
yeah. We have what we call the Western Corridor, the Central Corridor, and then the Eastern Corridor, where cattle are supposed to move from those countries to the coastal countries. For example, the Central Corridor, we have animals moving from Mali, Burkina Faso, Togo. Population is not big enough. And as we said, some of these alien herdsmen have come to Ghana and lived for years, and they have become adapted to the society. And some, as I said, come and stay for a long time. Others move back to wherever they come from, depending on the availability of feed and water.
So bottom line is that we cannot prevent them from coming.
For example, I must say, I have cattle at Insamam just here, and I feel like I must take care of them. But they are not destroying they are not destroying what? People's crops.
Yeah, so if I may add anything to it, so it's only when you can only flag the person out if the person comes to commit any crime within the country, just like we saw in Ashanti region. But if the person comes here to conduct his or her business in accordance with the laws here, we can flag, we can send the person.
With regards to what Doc talked about, the ECOWAS protocols, I think in our study tour, we met the Ghana embassy staff in Burkina Faso in Mali, and we discussed with them our mission. They got somebody to lead us because of the language barrier. And I remember in Burkina Faso, we asked a question. Because of ECOWAS, even we as humans, getting across these borders is a problem. So what are you talking about? The herdsmen. And one of them remarked that ECOWAS is not telling you to leave your door ajar so that snakes can come in to bite you.
So you also have your laws.
Once you observe the protocols, irrespective of where you are coming from, you are free to move. But if you take your movement as an advantage to destroy, like we are witnessing, then the law will not allow you. And that is why we are calling on government to pass such a law to regulate the movement of animals in our rural communities. Because ECOWAS is not saying go and destroy. ECOWAS is facilitating free movements of goods within the sub-region. And so we must all observe it as such. Once you have moved to somebody's region, respect the laws of that region so that you can have your peace to move. But if you go with violence, the law enforcement agencies will deal with you. So all that we are saying, let the law work so that we all can coexist in peace.
Let's do one message that comes to you, Doc, for your submission. Says this one, there is a Thomas says, please, I want to know whether there was a scheme that can assist young people like me to start ranching in the Afram Plains, where my dad has a wide stretch of grassland. This comes straight to you, Doc.
That is an interesting question. Afram Plains have a vast tract of land. I was the district veterinary officer there for years before coming down to Accra. And recently, we had a project called Afram Plains District Agricultural Development Project. And they have even piloted this ranking that we are discussing about. They have fenced some 4 areas in the Afram Plains. One in Wawasi, which has about 405 hectares. Then one in Fulfuri with 190 hectares.
I see.
And then one in Amankwa and one in the Mchenfre. So an example has been done there. And in this ranking area, we have a center for health, nutrition and veterinary care. We have a lowering ram, and we have a weighing scale that the animals, when they go in to graze, when they come out, you can take their weight. And these ones are divided into 3 or 4 paddocks. that the animals can graze in between the paddocks. And then these ones, we also have what we call a watering point in the area. And then we want to have what we call certain leguminous plants that can be planted inside, so that throughout the year they can be.
These are official plans that you have for,
Yes,
for
yeah.
this. Let's do one more message. I am Betty in Nayenka from northern part of Ghana. I'm very excited about your discussions this evening. Please work tirelessly on the law enforcement for the law. For the law, I think what you want to say, we should work tirelessly for the law to be passed very quickly to help peasant farmers to get good results from their farm, because the cattle are destroying our farms a lot. That is from somebody from the northern region. And before, I've got about 10 minutes to go. I want us to use it judiciously. Honorable, from now, we are in September. Before the year ends, do you see any concrete steps being taken to fast track this passage of the law we're talking about?
Yeah, the only avenue.
Given the urgency of the situation.
Yeah, I think one of the methods is what we are doing here today. I think this discussion, of course, be seen by many, and the authorities that are involved, particularly MOFA, will have to look at it and take action. My worry is the fact that he said there is an old law that is being revised to come and give us this new law that was started since 2003, and that if they get funding, he did mention that they get funding. You see, our agricultural sector is beset with a lot of donor agencies. We depend so much on donors to come and help us meet our agricultural needs. That, to me, is not too good. The Peasant Farmers Association, through BUSAC, held that meeting where we were invited. And as parliamentarians, I mean, that day I think we were about 3 or 4 in that meeting. The only thing that we could do was to more or less plead with MOFA to expedite action on what they were doing, because it is the only agency that can go to Attorney General for assistance for them to get such a bill sent to Cabinet and then to Parliament. And so I would ask that Mr. Nashiru and his listen. What the meeting we had there, to me, was out of Parliament. It was not official. So if they want to do anything, if they want to push it, maybe they will have to seek audience with the Agri Committee, and then the Legal and Constitutional Committee of Parliament come and tell us their needs, and then maybe officially, and we take them on the floor of Parliament, and pressure we put on MOFA and Attorney General from Parliament.
Wonderful. I'm putting you last.
So, because it is done. I mean, we don't initiate this thing, but if we come and we see the agency of what you want to churn out, of course, we put pressure for the paper to come to Parliament.
I'll give it the last talk anyway. But before then, Albert, please, most cattle in Ghana are for the very big men. So the laws can't work. The herdsmen have paid to take care of. That's what somebody's saying. Okay, wonderful.
Yes,
that's why between now.
Our interaction with some of the MPs, an MP told me, please allow the animals to have their freedom.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Which freedom? Unrestricted freedom.
to be moving about like they are moving.
I see.
We can't allow that. You can't do that.
I see. Let me come to you briefly. What are your expectations? I'm getting ready to wrap up, but Iman, you tell me. Yeah, you tell me, what do you expect the authorities that be to do in the short, medium, long term to address this situation? We've been there for some time now, and now we need, as Honorable has said, it's more than urgent. What do you expect to be done?
Okay, thank you very much. I think in terms of saying urgent, the agency, it is very urgent. We need it very urgently, because as for peace, we have no alternative for peace.
Yeah.
Without peace, we have nothing to do. So therefore, we are all yearning for peace, both the crop farmers and the cattle farmers. As I said, the problem is not only for the crop farmers, but we are also affected.
That's why we know.
Exactly. So what we are saying is that these laws must be looked into and passed quickly. My big boss said it here, and it is true that they've been carrying on. We've been giving copies, studying, and amendments goes on. And my big brother here also, they've initiated their own. They are carrying on. We ourselves have met with the Ministry of Agric concerning these laws for a long time, which they've even said we should write our proposals to see how we go. So we are seeing that if these laws are passed at the district levels, let's see who is coming in. Let's see, each district should close one. Then we now know one, who is coming in. As you are coming in, from where are you coming to this district? What is the reason of migration?
Okay.
What is the reason of migration? Why do you migrated from the other side to this place? What is the route taking? Was the route taking very clear? There wasn't any distraction?
Okay.
Where do you want to settle?
So you're running out of time.
Yeah. Where do you want to settle?
Okay.
And how are you settling? How long do you want to settle here?
So all
then
these
we
are part
identify
of the
all this.
of the,
So I think if they look at the legislations very well, and we combine ourselves together with the Ministry of Agric and other donors, and like for instance our brothers here, we can be able to do a lot. But I want you also to know that the Ghana National Association of Cattle Farmers is a stepping stone towards achieving peace. To those who are concerned.
Okay. Nashu, you're going to have my next slot, but let me quickly do this one. This one is from Davis Cowboy, 2009 National Best Farmer and chairman of NFAWG. He says, "Let me thank your panelists for a good discussion. I think we should be more proactive in dealing with these issues on agriculture. This law for me is long overdue, and I will urge authorities concerned to please fast-track things to save agriculture in general." Let me pick your thoughts. Before we go, first of all, what do you make of Booster Fund support in this direction? And then you tell me, between now and, if you like, as we enter the next quarter, what major steps should we be taking, to fast track this call for the law, looking at short, medium, and long term strategies? First of all, you address this for me.
Yes, I'll first of all want to say good evening to His Excellency the President John Dramani Mahama, and also use the platform to remind him of our encounter with him on this very subject matter, cattle ranching, and the promise he gave that we are still battling it. To the BUSAC, Business Sector Advocacy Challenge Fund, they have done a lot, and I want to say thank you for that support, and to say that, like Oliver Twist, they have done a lot, but we still need more for this adventurous advocacy. And then to MUFA, that is our main target, and that is the responsible institution designed for Ghana's agricultural development. We want to appeal to everybody, from the minister to all the staff of MUFA, to ensure that they support this action to succeed for our food security. That is the only legacy they can leave behind for the farmers in Ghana.
Doc, finally, I want a commitment from you. We need a statement from you this evening. As we enter the next quarter into the end of the year, when next, as we live here, when next are we going to have a concrete, workable plan from your ministry regarding the forward march of the passage of this cattle ranching law in Ghana? Something different.
With capital, we are supposed to have this done.
We have 1 minute for this.
We are ready, and then we have no funding problem because we have almost finished with the consultations. And the Honorable Deputy Minister, Honorable Hannah Bisiu, came and opened the policy validation workshop just on Wednesday. And I said tomorrow that we are closing the validation workshop. After the validation workshop, we are going to submit a cabinet memo to the cabinet for approval. And once that is done, then everything will be okay. Now it's now left to Parliament, and I'm lucky to have him here, so that if it's submitted, then they can do justice quickly to it, so that we can have the law passed. So we are ready. And
my question, are their concerns addressed?
in what's your push for their concerns being addressed.
I invite him to come tomorrow.
Then please do it quickly, because
tomorrow we are invited
before
to
you
come
go to Parliament.
Yes.
All right.
Tomorrow you are kindly invited.
So Nashiu, tomorrow, it's an appointment made on the platform.
At Main Civic Hotel.
All right. Thank you very much. Dr. Anthony Akunzule, Deputy Director of Veterinary Services, Ministry of Food and Agriculture, for time this evening. Thank you very much, Doc. And many thanks to you, Honorable William Ejipon Kwetu, Deputy Ranking Member, Prime Minister Committee on Agriculture, Food and Cocoa Affairs. Make thanks to you also, Iman Hanafi Sunday, who is the National Chairman of the Ghana National Association of Cattle Farmers. And appreciation to you, Mr. Mohammed Adam Nashiru, who is a member of the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana. Thank you very much. Also, to all those who sent us your messages, many thanks to you. And God willing, we'll come back again next Thursday. The program, remember, brought to you by Busak with the collaboration of GBC and GGA. So we'll come your way again next week. Bye for now.
Thank you.